Hey there, it's me, Will. I'm a computational linguist and the creator of the Allomorpheus language learning platform. In a previous video, I was intending to do a demo of the platform, but ended up giving a little bit of a rant, a little more context into what Allomorpheus is and how it fits into my own particular language learning philosophy and methodology. Anyways, I promised I would make another video where I explicitly give a product demo, sort of show how I use Allomorpheus for my own language learning. So without further ado, when you log into Allomorpheus, you land right here on this conversation page. If you haven't had previous conversations, then it's just completely blank. You can start a new conversation. Today I'm going to show off some French. You can pick your speaker here. You can either have Antoine or Camille. I prefer the female voice. You can pick between the playback speeds. One obviously is just the regular playback speed. If you need it a little bit slower, there's the 3/4 speed. I like to keep it at 1. And so basically the meat of the Allomorpheus platform is the conversation. Conversation drives the content, or I should say you drive the content through conversation. And then through the conversation, we'll find that we extract our lexicon. So that's words or multi-word expressions, grammar constructions that we find interesting or that the AI wants to suggest to us. And then we can drill down deeper into the grammar and the vocabulary. We can create note cards, things like that as we like. But it all starts with conversation. So you might be thinking, okay, cool, but I'm here to learn the language. I don't actually speak the language. Allomorpheus, the models have been tuned to meet you at your level. That is to say, you can speak to your AI tutor in either English or your target language or a mix of both at the same time, and it will understand you and it will respond appropriately. Sometimes you might get English, sometimes you'll get your target language if you're expressing yourself fluently and the models decide that, oh yeah, you can handle it. I'm going to just speak to you full on French. Anyway, I'm talking too much in English. Let's just do it. Bonjour Camille, comment ça va? So I press the record button, I speak obviously in French, and then I press the record button again to send that off.
Bonjour, ça va très bien, merci. Et vous, comment allez-vous? Qu'aimeriez-vous pratiquer aujourd'hui?
Oh, je sais pas. Est-ce que vous avez des idées?
Oh, je suis ravie de vous aider. Nous pourrions explorer plusieurs choses. Par exemple, on pourrait parler de vos centres d'intérêt, de vos projets de voyage, ou même de ce que vous aimez faire le week-end. Qu'est-ce qui vous tente le plus pour commencer?
Je sais pas, vraiment, je sais pas. Peut-être qu'on peut parler du week-end. J'aimerais aller, je sais, emmener mes enfants à la piscine peut-être, s'il fait chaud, je sais pas. Anyway, so what I'm doing here is I'm having a conversation, and you might be noticing there's these highlights here.
Ah, c'est une excellente idée de parler du week-end. Emmener les enfants à la piscine, surtout s'il fait chaud, c'est un très bon programme. Avez-vous une piscine préférée où vous aimez aller avec eux?
So anyway, so as you're having this conversation, you'll notice that the AI in the background is going through the tutor's responses and highlighting key phrases. Those are the purple highlights, or otherwise highlighting key terms. Those are the yellow highlights. So these are expressions or words that the AI thinks could be relevant to you at the level that you're at, things that you might want to know a little bit more about. And you can see that those are populated over here on the side as well. So yellow are mostly vocabulary items, and then the purple are the key structures or multi-word expressions that you might be interested in. And so you can take a look at that. Maybe some of them you already know, maybe some of them you don't know. And you can say, okay, well, let's see. plusieurs, what does that mean? You can click on it. It's got the context here and it's got the definition. So plusieurs means several. And then there's a note here. It's invariable, used for plural nouns. Cool. Well, let's add that to our vocabulary. So adding something to your vocabulary basically preserves this item, and you can click on it later in a different view, which I'll show you, and drill down on the grammatical structure. Depending on your language, maybe the morphological structure is something interesting that you want to examine deeper. If you want to make note cards for these words or these expressions, you can do so in the platform itself as well. So you save vocabulary items for later study. So I added plusieurs. It noticed that ravi was already in my vocabulary, so that was already green when it loaded. Let's look at some structures. Move the bubble up. Some more complicated structures. Qu'est-ce qui vous tente le plus? Qu'est-ce qui vous tente le plus? Let's see, that means what tempts you the most? What appeals to you the most? Cool. That could be useful. Let's add that to the vocabulary. I can speak English. Vocabulary. Nous pourrions explorer. We could explore, so let's add that. Anyways, I could keep going on responding to the AI tutor, but I'm going to choose right now to hop over to the vocabulary pane where you can see the items I've just added. Like, let's move the bubble again. Qu'est-ce qui vous tente le plus? I can click on here.
Qu'est-ce qui vous tente le plus?
And I get another voice that pronounces that for me, so I can practice hearing it.
Qu'est-ce qui vous tente le plus?
And then I can click. Basically, this view just gives you more of the nitty-gritty details about this expression or the word that you've collected here in your vocabulary. So that includes the morphological breakdown, the morphemes that create the words, which create the phrase that you've saved here in your lexicon, part of speech tags, etymology, related forms, usage notes, etc. And again,
qu'est-ce qui vous tente le plus?
You can listen and you can practice hearing the words. As you progress through, multiple conversations with your AI tutor, you end up collecting quite a few phrases and words, which are useful for individual study and which you can also organize into flashcard sets. You have this sort of general flashcard set that's implied just by the collection, and you can quiz yourself overall on the whole collection. As you can see here, I have 58 cards due that I need to review. You can also create these new flashcard sets. So, I don't know, new set 2. So I've created this new set 2, and I can add cards to that set. New set 2, new set 2, new set 2. And then, once you've got your flashcard set organized, you can quiz yourself. Now, there are different ways you can quiz yourself on a vocabulary item, and this allows you to basically choose what mode you want to review your flashcards in. So let's do a listen and match.
Nous pourrions explorer.
So in this one, you hear the vocabulary item and then you choose the English definition. So I heard it once, let me try and hear it again.
Nous pourrions explorer.
Nous pourrions explorer. We could explore. Cool. I got that right. That was fairly easy.
Qu'est-ce qui vous tente le plus?
What was that?
Qu'est-ce qui vous tente le plus?
Qu'est-ce qui vous tente le plus? That is what tempts you the most. So this one, if maybe it was easy, maybe it was good, maybe it was hard, you rate at the bottom how easy it was for you to answer this question, and that affects how frequently this item will show up for you in the future. If you've studied languages or if you've used note cards intensely before, you might be familiar with the concept of spaced repetition, where basically there's an algorithm that takes into consideration how difficult it was for you to answer a given flashcard or answer a given question. Depending on how difficult it was, it will surface that vocabulary item or that quiz item to you either more frequently for harder things that you didn't get right, or less frequently for things that you've gotten right. And so the things that are harder get prioritized. The things that are easy kind of go back into background review mode. And all of that's managed by the system. So you just answer the question, give an indication of how difficult the question was for you, and the system will schedule basically which cards to surface to you each day, which cards it tells you are due for the day based on priority. So this one kind of, let me hear it again. Plusieurs, several. Easy. Okay. Yay, I got 3 out of 3. Cool. Back to vocabulary. Anyway, so yeah, so I did my quiz for the day. If I come back tomorrow, I'll see that I have some number of items due. So the harder ones will have come back to me tomorrow, and the easier ones, maybe they'll back off for a few days. So yeah, that's the vocabulary management and note card studying system that we have built in here. We also have this grammar feature here. I've mentioned before, maybe it was mostly in the other video, in my methodology, I don't believe in going too heavy on grammar right out the gate. And so what we have here is a system that will recommend to you sort of bite-sized grammar tidbits based on what conversations you've been having with your AI tutor. So I can click for today's grammar, I can click generate grammar, and it's going to go ahead and take a look at what my activity has been recently, what my vocabulary collection has been recently, what I've been saying to my AI tutor, and it's going to come up with something that it thinks is useful for me. So the grammar lesson today is on negating multiple things. In French, when you want to say neither nor, to negate 2 or more items or actions, you use the special structure ni. So it's like, here's some examples. Ce n'était ni un requin, ni un poisson ordinaire. So it was neither a shark nor an ordinary fish. Okay, so this is the neither nor grammatical structure. Ni un requin, ni un poisson.
Ce n'était ni un requin ni un poisson ordinaire.
Je n'aime ni le café ni le thé.
Je n'aime ni le café ni le thé.
I don't like coffee and I don't like tea. Or I like neither coffee nor tea. Let's see. He speaks neither French nor English. Il ne parle ni français ni anglais.
Il ne parle ni français ni anglais.
Okay, cool. Bite-sized grammar lesson. So if I like this one, maybe I don't like it, maybe I do. If I like it, I can save it to my collection, and it comes down here, and I can review them later on. So I've got my past little grammar lessons here. And similar to your vocabulary collection, you can collect grammar lessons. You can search through them later as your collection grows, and refresh your memory on these little structural facts about the language and patterns that you can apply more broadly. Okay, so with the whirlwind tour of the system, the last stop is alphabet. And let's do something interesting here. Well, yeah, let's do Arabic. Okay. So every language, well, not every, each language will have, some alphabet. Obviously. Some languages have the Latin alphabet, and if you're an English speaker, you're probably very familiar with how to roughly pronounce words written in a Latin alphabet. Some languages, like Arabic, have a completely different orthography, different alphabet, which they use to write words. And so you have to learn the writing system as well, and that's an important step in becoming fluent and in developing your literacy in the language. So with Arabic, we have the specialized Arabic activity where you can click on the letters and you can drag and drop them to create words. You can play with the sounds interactively to get used to how they sound in isolation and how they join and how they sound when they're joined, and whether or not the thing that you just joined haphazardly is actually a word. So for example, let's see, what is this sound here? Calf. Okay, cool. Let's drag that. Let's give ourselves a K. K. Okay. Let's see. in Arabic, you've got this little diacritics menu down here. So in Arabic, the vowels are, for the most part, optional in the written language. So you'll often have words written with just the consonants, and then just by pattern recognition, you'll know what the proper vowels are that are, when you speak it, inserted between these consonants. But you can also write them. So here's the kasra, and I want to attach that to my kaf underneath there. And so what did that do? Before it was just sort of k sound, but I added that. Did that change it? Ki. Okay. Let's see. Let's pick another letter. This one is ta, the t sound. Keet. 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 Okay. Let's throw an aleph in there, and let's throw a ba.
Kitab.
Kitab. Kitab. Okay, so we've written the word kitab. Well, I kind of gave away the ending there. Is it a word? I can check. Let's see. Oh, what do you know? Kitab is a real Arabic word. It means book. It's a very common singular noun in Arabic. Cool. Well, that's fun. So yeah, so every language has its own alphabet activity, because potentially every language is going to have their own unique writing system. Another unique writing system we have here is Korean. Okay, so for example, the Korean writing system, in order to write words in Korean, you kind of compose these syllables with some initial consonant, a vowel, and an optional final consonant. And then those blocks, those combinations of sounds end up being individual blocks, and then a combination of blocks ends up being a word. So, for example, let's see. Let's choose that for our initial consonant. That's our vowel. Let's see. Okay, so that's a full block. I chose an initial consonant, a vowel, and a final consonant. And I say add, so that is added to our word. And then our next syllable is, let's see, let's do that. And let's do that.
Nah.
And let's... Okay, what does that sound like?
Nung.
That's not what I wanted. Hold on. There we go.
Nu. Nyung.
That.
Nyo. Young.
Young. Okay, that's what I wanted, because I'm trying to say
안녕.
안녕. Let me check if I got that right. Yeah. So 안녕 is a real Korean word. It means hello, hi, goodbye, or bye. It's an informal greeting and farewell used among friends or to those younger. Cool. So I guess the point here is every language potentially is going to have maybe its own unique writing system. And so for every language, we try to create the unique interactive activities that will help you learn that writing system. Anyways, that's the lightning tour of the Allomorpheus language learning platform. The basic flow, to reiterate, is you generate content through conversation. You do your best in the conversation. Maybe you're mixing English with your target language. The AI tutor will adapt to be at your level to help you out, to eventually get you to the point where the conversation is fully in your target language. But you generate content through that conversation process, making every mistake you want to make along the way. You use it to harvest a vocabulary of words, multi-word expressions, which is stored in the vocabulary tab. You use the vocabulary tab to dig deeper into words and multi-word expressions, to quiz yourself on pronunciation by repeating the words and hearing them pronounced in multiple affectations. You can also study the grammar, which is generated relevant to whatever your activity has been on the platform recently. And of course, if your language has a unique writing system that you can't immediately read, we have tailored activities on the alphabet or the orthography of your target language. Right now, the platform supports French, Spanish, Japanese, Korean, and Levantine Arabic. The platform is going to slowly work its way out to other languages, but also in each language develop deeper and deeper activities that are language specific. There is certainly some language specific attention that needs to be paid to each and every language. There's a handcraftedness to these activities and a lot of thought that I try to put into creating interactive, repeatable activities on a per language basis without this sort of one-size-fits-all attitude towards language learning. Finally, I just added this as a report issues or feedback tab. If you're using my platform and something's not right, or you have a suggestion or whatever, you can always just share your thoughts here. If it's a bug, tell me what happened. Click send, that comes directly to me, and I will do my best to get right on it, fix whatever it is that's broken, or address your concerns, or take your feedback. So yeah, anyways, hope that was informative, and if you got any questions, reach out to me. You can either email me, this is my email address, or you can report an issue. It'll go to the same place. Yeah, thank you.